Simon, please.
Yeah. Two questions for you. First of all, how Sunday was obviously a difficult day. How have the group and I guess yourself responded to that disappointment?
Obviously, it was a difficult day, and as always, we analyze and we do the tough, the reality. It was a reality check, so we have to learn from it and then carry on.
At training this morning, there was no Harry Maguire, Raphael Varane, Aaron Wan-Bissaka or Donny van der Beek. Could you provide us an update on those 4 players, please?
Not available for tomorrow.
Do you think they'll be available soon?
Yes, in case of Rafa, I have good hope. Harry will take a little bit longer, and the other 2 I cannot give a prognosis.
Okay.
Bruno, you were captain on Sunday. Did you feel that the team let itself down and there was a sense of anger?
No, obviously we know that the game that we did was not good enough for our standards, for what we have set for ourselves, for what we want to achieve this season. No, we have let down the club altogether, not just 1 or 2 players. Altogether, we didn't do enough to win the game, to get points from that game. And we all, when I mean all, is all, starting on me, all disappointing with the result, obviously.
You've been playing very well up to that point, the previous 4 games, and taken on the armband. Did you feel an extra responsibility at the moment as captain on the field?
No, the responsibility is playing for this massive club. Everyone has to feel the same responsibility. We have to share that. Doesn't matter who has the armband on the pitch. Obviously, we know that being captain for this club is such an honor, but I think the responsibility is for the badge we have on the chest, and that's the biggest responsibility we can have.
And just one more to you, Bruno. The previous 4 games, there was a lot of positives. How much positivity has there been under the new manager in the way you're playing and how you've been doing, apart from the derby, obviously?
Even on the derby, we have to take that for seeing what we have still margin to improve. It's still a long way to go. We know what we want to achieve. We know what we want to do. I know what the manager wants from me. I think we all know what the manager wants for us as a team, and I think now it's just the time to get back to the good results, and we have the chance to do it tomorrow straight away.
Thank you.
Erik, I know you've spoken about the reasons Ronaldo didn't figure in the Manchester derby, but obviously the fact that he wasn't used has opened up the debate as to whether he could go in January. With that in mind, what's your response to those who would suggest that Ronaldo will leave the club in the next transfer window?
I can't see that relation, that he is not coming on when we are 4-0 down, 5-1 down, 6-1 down, and I don't bring him out of respect. So it's nothing to do what's happening for the future and what's happening for January or next year.
At the same time, Ronaldo is someone who obviously wants to play. So from the conversations that you have with him, what would you gauge about his mood at the moment? How happy? And if he is unhappy, does it make sense to keep a player like that around the club? Does it have an impact on the squad?
I don't see he is unhappy. So he is happy, he's training well, he's enjoying. I think everyone is training well. There's a good spirit and vibe on the training. So that's not the point. But it's important because it's a base to work well.
What contribution then do you still see him making this season? And obviously, I presume you still see him making that contribution beyond January.
You know, everyone knows what do you expect from strikers. First, production, and second, also in football, it's 11. Nowadays, football 11 defend, 11 attack. So everyone has to contribute.
Simon and
Laura. You said about a reality check on Sunday. You're the manager of the team. You see them training every week. Was it a reality check for you as well in terms of the progression of the team and maybe the results looked as though the progression had gone further than it actually had?
No. I know when you are going in a process, it will not go only upside. You will have setbacks. And we beat the number 1 in the league. We beat Liverpool. On Sunday we had a bad day at the office. clear, and we got beaten. And in this moment, on that day, City was better. We have to accept it, but what we can't accept is our performance. That was unacceptable.
Do you agree with that, Bruno? You came into the club and the club went up, then it dropped back, then it seemed to go up again, then it dropped back again, and Erik's come in and you've had bad results at Brentford, then good results, then another bad result. How do you get the inconsistency out of your game, and where is the level of Manchester United at the moment?
Oh, as you said, when I came to the club, probably was not the best period for the club. We did really well. We went to the Champions League. The season after, we get the second place. We went to the final of Europa League, and obviously, in my third season was not the standard that this club deserves. Obviously, we start this season with a project. I think is clear from the club that you want to make a standard with the manager, an idea of play, and I think everyone has to be in the same page. I think it's been like that even with that 2 defeats, because we did really well in the pre-season. We get back and we understand that the Premier League is not that easy, so we have to be at a high standard, at high level, and understand that every game will be difficult. We get our 4 consecutive wins straight away with big teams, with Arsenal that is doing really well, with Leicester that is always tough to play away, Southampton is always tough to play away, and obviously with Liverpool. And now we have this setback, but this hasn't changed nothing on our ideas, on our way of playing, on what we want to do as a team. And I think and should be like that. The club doesn't want to change nothing at all, because I think it is a process, as the manager said, and in this kind of process, because if we go to the reality, we are 3 months together with the manager, so this will get time. Obviously, completely different ideas, and I think the team is doing really well. We had a bad result against one of the better teams of our league, so it's tough because he's a rival, he's in a derby. The result was what it was, but now it's time to get back and win straight away tomorrow, as I said, and after get our way again to win consecutive games.
Where do you see the level of Manchester United, though? I mean, on Sunday it looked as though that was quite a long way away from Manchester City, but is it ahead of Arsenal, level with Arsenal?
No, we don't have to focus on anyone else. We have to focus on ourselves. That has been the problem for the club in the previous years, that we want to compare ourselves with other teams. We can't do that. We have to do the best we can for this club, because this club deserves to be at the top. But we have to look at ourselves. We have to look inside and understand where are the problems, where are the mistakes, what we can improve. Because you can't change anything away from here. You can change what you do here, on the day by day, on the training sessions, on the games. You can do different things for yourself, for your team. And that is what we have to think, not about Arsenal, Liverpool, or wherever. We have to think at ourselves, doing the best we can, win every game that we have in our hands, and the future will say where we have to be on the table, if it's first, second, third, fourth, or even lower.
Hi, Bruno. Rules were broken on Sunday, according to Erik, in terms of, I think, pressing maybe off the ball or certain positional things. Can you sort of identify what those rules were, and have you had open, honest conversation with teammates about what they were, and so that they don't happen in future?
No, we had a meeting, as the manager said. We went to see the tough things, see the mistakes that we did. And as I said after the game, I said straight away, I think we conceded 3 goals on a counter against a team that normally plays in possession. So we knew it, that when they don't have the ball, they have some players that stay up front, that want to counter, that want to have the ball straight away when they win it, and we could avoid that. We didn't, and they scored the goals. But as I said, we saw that, we know what was the mistakes, and now more than see and understand what was the mistakes is don't repeat it again, and get back, as I said. Get back to the best results as we can, to win games, because that in football is where it counts. And even if we have done a bad game against City and we have scored 6 goals and was 6-6, everyone will be probably more happy. But obviously, I think the main thing for us now is get back on the winning track and carry on.
Question for Erik, if I may. It's obviously a long process that we're undertaking here. We've had some signs of success. Does a game against City mean that you tweak anything in those kind of big games against such quality opposition, or is it just part of the building process and players will need to have these kind of bumps along the way?
What is tweak?
To tweak, to change a little.
Oh, to change.
So after the Brentford game, it seemed like passing out from the back maybe was altered. Would you adapt certain principles for certain big games?
That's what you always do, so that you take respect of the opponent, but we will stick to our philosophy. We will stick to our rules and our principles, but that's tactics. Sometimes you, in your tactic, you also to surprise opponents. You have to bring something different in your game, and we will do, also for the future. But I think what's good, I think we can get a lot of confidence about this series. When you beat Arsenal, when you beat Liverpool, and now we get a reality check with Man City. So we know that we have to step up, and that is so. Thank you for the lesson from Pep and City. But we will take that, and we have to understand. We have to do things much better.
Last question in the room from time.
Hi, Erik. Just want to talk about Casemiro. Obviously, he's sort of had a slow adaptation to Manchester United, still trying to get into the Premier League team. What more does he have to do to force his way into that team? And can he use these Europa League games to try and build up his fitness for Premier League football? Because obviously it's often played, tomorrow played at a different tempo to the derby was, for example.
First of all, I don't make a difference. Europa League, Premier League, we have to win all the leagues and all the cups and what else. So we will play tomorrow our best team, and we have to construct a team, because also we want a competitive culture in our team, in this club. And I said already before, it had nothing to do with Casemiro. It had always all to do with Scott. And because when you sum it up, Brentford, he wasn't in the team, we lose. And then Casemiro, he came on the day that Casemiro signed, and we win. We played 6 games, we win 5. And in 5 games, he played. And in 1 game he didn't, that was against Sociedad. So for me, then is that logical, because it's competition in the team. And so for me, was that the choice? And he performed really well, he developed really well, and had nothing to do with Casemiro. But I'm sure that Kasse will play a really important role, and we know all his background. We know all the titles he won. You see every day in training he can contribute in this team, and he will be a really important player for this team. So we will see what will happen, but I'm convinced that will happen.
Okay, we have time for just a few questions from journalists in Cyprus via Zoom, and we'll start with Rob Dawson.
Hi, a question for Bruno, if possible. The manager on Sunday referenced he thought it was a lack of belief that contributed to the defeat at City. I was just wondering, do you feel that is still probably an issue in the dressing room, that even though you've had a couple of wins, the confidence is still quite fragile?
Oh, the confidence has to grow up, because we know we have been doing really well, and we can't be just putting everything away we have done because of a result. We didn't when we lost the first 2 games, and so we shouldn't do it now. And I think everyone is aware of that. Everyone knows what we have to do, and it is about, as I said before, get back to the wins, believe in the process, because as I said before, it's a process. We'll get time. We've been doing really well in the recent previous games before City. Is a setback, but you have to get up, and as everyone knows, it's when you start getting a good result, and if we will get a good result tomorrow, we will be back, and that is the most important thing.
Dave McDonald.
Question for Erik. Erik, you said Cristiano Ronaldo is happy, but how can a player of his status and ambition and pride be happy when he's not playing?
He's not happy that he wasn't playing Sunday, don't get me wrong, but that wasn't the question. The question was how he's on the training pitch and what his mood is when he is around. And then he's happy. But of course he wants to play, and he's pissed off when he's not playing. Yeah, clear.
Do we have a question from Jenny Jackson?
Hi, question for Erik. Just going back to your comment, I think you just repeated it now about why you didn't bring on Cristiano against Manchester City. I think you said, we certainly said on Sunday, out of respect for his career, but I'm a bit confused because it sounds like special treatment for one player as if he's not the same as the others. I mean, why put on Anthony Martial if you're losing 5-1? Why is he any different?
I think it's, for me, it's quite obvious. For you, maybe not, but I think also you understand why did this.
So I didn't hear the response, but I am actually confused why you said that, because why have any player on the bench, whether he's 37 or 21, if you're not prepared to use it in his career? Seems odd.
Well, I said you didn't hear my answer, but I think you know why that is. When you are honest, then you know there is a difference. But for me, it's no difference. For me, it's the best. Let me make myself clear. It's always about you live by the day and you line up the strongest team you have. Don't get me wrong, but there are differences. No one is the same in a team. Actually, and also the treatment. I will treat everyone with respect, but they have all different backgrounds, and also from character they are different. So also I have to treat players different to get the best out of them. But there are certain general, let's say, values and standards. What counts for everyone.
Okay, do we have any other questions in Cyprus? Okay, last question from Chris Wheeler.
Yes, hi Erik. You said that he isn't happy not playing, but otherwise he does seem happy to you. In your conversations with him, do you sense that he accepts the role he has at the club and that he sees himself being part of that for the rest of this season?
Yeah, I never talk about what I talk. My conversations with players are between us. That's quite clear. But when I tell you, one of course, like all the players, because when you are here and when you are happy, or when you are satisfied when you're on the bench, then this is not the club where you have to be. So and especially Cristiano, he's a really competitive, as we all know. He is not happy, of course, when he is not playing. But I already said, and then I have to repeat. Maybe you didn't hear. He's training well. He has a good mood, and he's motivated, and he gives his best. So, and that is what we expect.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.